Dave Stevens is with Olympian Meeting, and you guys just put together an incredible experience at IMEX this year. What was
that? So we launched a program called Circadian Cove, and it's the first wellness lounge with intention. So what we did is we actually programmed a series of modalities. We took the big list of practitioners and all the different things we could do, sound bowls and therapeutic VR and the shift wave chairs and Oura photography and boot camps and all the things, right? And we sat down with Dr. Jess for quite a few hours, and we arranged things so that they not only met people's energetic levels at their circadian rhythm for each day. They also evolved over the course of the program because we know first day energy is different than last day energy. So we started with much more higher intensity offerings, and by the end, on the last day, we ended up doing a forgetting curve mitigation journaling class.
Wow.
Because basically there's this thing called the forgetting curve that I learned from Dr. Jess, of course. And when you don't re-engage with content or material, you're likely to forget a ton of it, 80+%. So what we did is we created this journaling class at the end that was all prompted. We had a Club Ichi member there who actually
Jenny Blaschke?
Yeah. And she led it, and it was a prompted journaling class so that people re-engage with the meetings they had, the educational sessions they went to, all those things, so that a couple things happened with that, which was really exciting. One, people left with an inherent higher level of perceived value of IMEX as a whole, because they wrote down the things they learned, they wrote down the things, the meetings they had, so they actually left with an action plan. And anecdotally, at some point, we'll have funding to do science on this, but we're going to guess that people slept better. The reason being is our brains, they talk about journaling before bed helps you sleep better at night because it closes the open loops in your brain, like all the things that you need to do, or I don't want to forget that, and you're running those things through your head. If you write all those things down, you sleep better.
Wow.
That is documented. So my correlation is that I think if we do this at events, people will go home and sleep better because they actually wrote down what they got, let alone when they go to work and someone's like, hey, how was the conference? And they're like, oh, it was great because boom, 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 instead of, oh, it was great.
Yeah. And they'll retain information better, right? Because there's so much that's thrown at you during the events that's just hard to remember it all, and your brain just feels like it's bleeding at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Okay, when we were chatting about bringing you on and talking about things, we talked about what's the title of this conversation. You have your podcast that's the Return on Wellness.
That you named.
Well, yes, but you named Ichi, so I mean we named it together, I would say. High five.
Okay.
And
that's the power of Club Ichi, partnership.
But then you said this is kind of What's Up with Wellness, which used to be your segment on that show that we did together. But I said I think that our topic should be something a little bit more like the wellness trend is over.
Yeah, and I
and
love it.
you agreed with me because why?
Because it is here to stay.
So the trend part is what's over.
It's no longer a trend.
Right, it's endemic.
Wellness is, it's not a trend any longer. It's not a cake pop that was like hot for a couple of years and then went away.
Still like them though.
I love me a cake pop, okay? Whatever.
Yeah, so do I. I love a cake pop, and it's like my little vice when someone sends me to go do a coffee run. I'm like, well, I'm treating myself to a cake pop. I'll eat it before I get back so nobody knows. But yeah, I went to the Global Wellness Summit this year, and what I saw was, one, it was the first time it had sold out. It was the 19th year. There were only over 500 people that flew to Dubai for this conference.
Wow.
And the global wellness industry is up to $6.8 trillion with a T dollars now. And
how many zeros is that?
I think it's 9.
Dang.
So there's a lot of zeros.
But what does it include? I don't even understand what that means by wellness industry.
Yeah, so there's a number of different categories, but it also includes healthcare and beauty. It includes the supplement industry. The new one that is seemingly contentious online is wellness real estate.
What?
Meaning like spa retreat places?
Well, so what's happening, and there is this building there that they're building in Dubai, surprise, surprise, but it is this fully both sustainable, which feels ironic to say, given it's in Dubai, but somehow it's getting, because they're in the middle of a desert, but somehow this building is sustainable. But like, all the water is reclaimed. All the air is HVAC in your, not HVAC, but HEPA filtered in your actual unit. So it's this entire building that's has biophilia everywhere. On the website, it said something like, if you were to pick the last place to live, or if you were to live somewhere forever, where would it be? And that's what they're trying to design.
Wow.
They're trying to design a place where it is your refuge, and when you come home, you feel like you're recharging, you're doing better, and they think about your lighting and how much natural light your rooms have, and can it get dark for sleep? And so it's this crazy place, and it looks like a giant tree house. But and then the other thing is, a lot of these hotels and properties, there's this huge project happening on the Red Sea in Saudi Arabia that is all of these hotels that are exclusively focused on wellness.
Wow.
So what's happening is the real estate market is like, oh, people are willing to spend more money in their personal lives on wellness, so let's sell them real estate. Actually, next month's guest on Return on Wellness is with a company called The Well Home, and he talks about his company is based on how to integrate wellness into your living situation. So
what's the difference between a wellness property and just a property? Do they offer more stuff? Do they what?
Yeah, I think and this is where things get interesting, right? Because there's your traditional wellness traveler or tourism offering, which is going to be fairly spa forward, but it is going to think about air quality in your room, water quality. So there's a group called the Wellness and Travel and Tourism, WIT is what it's called, and I happen to sit on their board of advisory standards. So we set what the hotels have to offer in order to earn that certification.
Okay.
But their gym has to meet a certain requirement. Their spa has to meet a certain requirement. They have to be connected with their local people and land to a certain extent. They have to do something that gives back to the community. Wow. They have to help people get access to green space, so nature. Wow. So there's a number of things that are offered. Now, the challenge, and what we specialize in at Olympian Meeting, is how do you take that and scale it? Because for a person or a couple or a family, wellness, there's no shortage of wellness retreats and things of that nature, right? Even if you want 10 people, there's a plethora of that. But when you want to do wellness for 100 people, it gets a little more complicated. And that's what's really interesting about these wellness properties, is the fact that I'm curious if they're going to have meeting space, or if they're going to have a banquets menu, or if any of them are doing even a start of like what Caesars is doing with their wellness menu, where it's designing wellness for groups as opposed to just for the transient traveler.
Are they looking at these as like incentive travel, corporate travel like that, or are they not there yet?
It's starting. I will say my conversations at the summit were really interesting because people were very intrigued. They're like, oh, I've never really thought about that when we talk about wellness at a conference, right? And how to integrate it. So most people are still focused on the 10 to 20 person retreat over the 50, 150, 500 person event. So it's starting, but I wouldn't say it's quite there yet.
What is the responsibility of an event professional in trying to make sure that wellness is actually integrated in the event? Because at some level, it's like, if I own a restaurant and I sell chicken fingers, then I don't have to make sure I have gluten-free chicken fingers. You just don't come to my restaurant. So if I'm running an event, there's now this expectation that I have a wellness lounge and a water sommelier and like all these crazy things when I just want to put some content out and sell some stuff to people.
Yeah, I get that. And I think when you understand the value of wellness, then it makes you think about it differently. When you start thinking about the impact it has on people. I mean, the study came out from IMEX that was very obvious that, and it really coincided completely accidentally, but there is no accidents in the universe, I've come to learn. Our episode of Return on Wellness this month was also, the episode name was, are you planning events that help or harm. And you go back to the Hippocratic Oath for doctors, which none of us here are doctors, where it's based on do no harm. And when you start thinking about when you're planning an event, are you harming people's health or are you helping their health?
Wow.
And does harming their health impede their ability to absorb the content that you've pined over for hours and done rehearsals and reviewed slides, and hopefully you've done rehearsals. But you put all this
It's not
effort,
something we do here at Ichi.
Yeah, we just kind of wing it.
but you're putting all this effort to put all this stuff into the world. So are you helping people really absorb that? Are you setting them up for success?
Okay.
Yeah.
Or are you undermining your own ROI by treating them like robots that they should just be able to function uninhibited for 18 hours a day?
Yeah.
So it's not that you have to offer all these things just because they're the trendy cake pops on the food and beverage menu. It's how does what you feed people impact their ability to learn?
Yeah.
This is the secret weapon for the planner so that their participants leave with more information. Offering that journaling class, that costs time in the agenda. But if their value goes up and they can document to their boss what they learned in an event, is that really costing you, or is that investing in the event because you're impacting the outcome?
That's great.
And because if you can't convey the outcome, then what's the point? It was a party.
And those are just questions that, to go back to the very beginning, how easy it actually is, or a lot of planners might do this, is just to skip over realizing that they're really not thinking through what is the attendee experience and asking themselves, am I hurting or helping or harming, the attendee? To frame it like that is pretty, that's a deep investigation, and just even how you look at everything. So those are good questions.
A woman I interviewed earlier this year, she's the executive director of the World Federation of Public Health Associations.
Wow.
Okay, lots of words, right? So we all know the World Health Organization, right? They are they're the association of federal public health or government public health.
Okay.
So they belong to this organization, as does every academic outlet that studies public health. She told me, you think you're doing wellness. What you're actually doing is public health. And that shifted my perspective because, think about it, we all learned about super spreaders and stuff, right? Back in the day when you were bringing people together, if somebody showed up with COVID and you gave it to 5,000 people, well, what's the responsibility on your company, especially if someone gets sick and passes,
Right.
God forbid, that at that time. But on a less poignant level, it still comes back to, are you caring for people when they come to your event, or are you trashing them? And one of the things that I will allude to is people are starting to already know how you're treating them before you tell them.
How?
Wearables. So
Wearables.
this was going to be my next question, because you have all sorts of things that you're wearing. I've been hearing people with Oura rings. I've been hearing all sorts of
Bracelets,
stuff.
watches. What's
Well,
happening
my
over
favorite
there?
is my Club Ichi friendship
Yes.
bracelet.
Duh.
Thank you to Jennifer for making this for us.
But I have my Whoop, and it tells me every day, here's how you slept. And the AI assistant says, what the hell happened? Or good job, or whatever. And I'm working on correlating and digging up the data, but on wearables between Oura's, Whoops, Apple Watches, except people are tracking more health data than they've ever tracked before. It's a growing billion-dollar segment of the wellness space. And they're going to be showing up to your event each day, basically with a report card in their phone, in their hotel room, before they even set foot at your event. So they're going to know if your event is abusing them or
Yeah.
caring for them.
Wow.
And it's not something we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And the people who are investing in these things, high college degrees, super high incomes, senior level titles, decision makers, entrepreneurs, C-levels, because they're chasing performance in life in general, right?
Right, yeah.
So they're the ones who want to see how to optimize this or that or the other. And if they see your events trashing them,
That's such a good, I have never thought about it like that, right? Is segmenting the expectations and the demands and how will those shift, and do the planners, that are putting together these these events for that segment of the audience, are they thinking of that? So that's
amazing.
It's a head nodder.
Thank you.
Well, as we wrap this conversation up, I just want to say thank you so very much for coming here and telling us all the great stuff that you saw in Dubai, and then the future of wearables. I think that we should have some more conversations inside Ichi about what that means for event professionals and how we should get access to some of that data as post-event survey stuff almost. Like, if people are wearing these things, how do we know what we need to change for our events in the future?
Yeah, I think what's really nice is with some of the companies out there that are offering the step challenges and things of that nature, because they're accessing the APIs, it's only a matter of time before people start opting in, and you can see what kind of data is coming from everyone to understand how people are actually, if people are surviving or if they're thriving at events.
Yeah.